This is Brian with screenfiles.com and review. What I'm reviewing today is the Cloverfield Paradox. Though the greatest paradox is how this movie didn't get more rewrites.
Looks like you should have left town a little bit earlier.
Whatever you're doing, stop.
The Cloverfield Paradox takes place in the Cloverfield universe, which includes movies like Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and the Cloverfield Paradox. And it's a good movie. It looks great. Production design is really nice. I think it's well lit. It's a great looking movie. Has great actors in it. It works in that capacity. Though the problem is, as I alluded to in my opening, the story is half-baked. And this is problematic because the movie takes place in a future where humanity is at war with itself over energy. So there's a space station called Cloverfield, because movie, and they have a particle accelerator on the station designed to create free available energy for the planet and hopefully in the process stop a lot of the conflict that's happening. And while I'm not sure that would actually work that way, in any case, that's the idea the movie's working under. And it tells two stories. It tells a story of the astronauts aboard the Cloverfield space station and a story of the husband of one of those astronauts on Earth. And that secondary story, the husband and what's going on Earth, isn't terribly necessary. I don't feel it really does much. You just know that there are weird things happening on Earth, but you get no real understanding as to what. The most interesting story is aboard the space station. Ironically, where it mostly goes wrong. Mainly because the movie is two movies. Never mind those two parallel storylines. Those are fine in the sense of two storylines, not a big deal. The problem is the movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It plays like a version of Jerry Anderson's Doppelganger, otherwise known as Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, in which, because of some problem with the particle accelerator, it transitions them to an alternate Earth. Like our Earth in every way, except they're not on it, because in this version, the Cloverfield space station crashed. So they're aboard the space station, parallel Earth. That works. As I said, it's like Doppelganger. That's fine. But the problem is they introduce another element, which is very Hellraiser, very Event Horizon, and there's nothing necessarily even wrong with that. But the problem is they don't explain it. I mean, there's some exposition given about the particle accelerator and this, that, and the other, but it's not very clear why that's happening. It's very Event Horizon-ish in that the station at various times seems to be trying to kill the inhabitants. It makes no sense. It takes you out of the movie, it introduces a weird element that doesn't entirely fit. And this is probably its greatest problem. If it had stuck exclusively with the parallel Earth angle, that would have worked. If it would have stuck exclusively with the weird Event Horizon-ish, Hellraiser-ish element, that would work. But to combine them both in a very awkward fashion doesn't quite resonate. Things don't make sense. Weird things happen without a real context. So as opposed to these events being scary, you just look at them as Why is that happening? And that's its greatest problem. You don't necessarily know why it's happening. The psychobabble, given as an explanation, doesn't clarify things. So the Cloverfield Paradox ends up, as a result of its clutter, less than the parts that come together to assemble it. It's worth seeing. As I said, the production design is very good. The special effects are great. It's a gorgeous movie to look at. It's got great actors in it. But the story, which is where everything depends on, is so half-baked. This is Brian with screenfiles.com and review. Peace.